Here are the steps for adding a passage or image that you want multiple questions to connect to within Canvas. In Canvas New Quizzes, we call this a stimulus. To add a stimulus, you will click the blue plus button and then select stimulus from the list of content. Within your stimulus, there are 3 sections that are important that you add information to. The first is going to be the title of the stimulus, then you're going to have the instructions section of the stimulus, and then you will have your content area of the stimulus. This is where your actual passage or your image will go for students to analyze to then answer the questions that will be attached to it. I'm going to go ahead and insert my content into these, and then I will explain the rest of the items on the stimulus. Now that I have entered the title of my passage, the instructions for my students, and the content or the passage that they will be reading, I'm going to scroll down further, and underneath I do have a couple options that I can set up. The first is going to be the orientation of the questions. So right now it is set that the questions will be to the right of my stimulus, which does mimic how the STAAR exam will be given on Cambium. The other option is to do your questions below. So you could have your stimulus at the top of the quiz, and then the questions would fall underneath it that relate to that stimulus. I'm going to go ahead and keep it with questions to the right so that it mimics STAAR 2.0. The last thing you are able to also insert is the source URL. This is not visible to students, but it helps when you connect the URL of where you got your passage from. So maybe you got it from a Newsella article or from the Amplify curriculum, and you can link directly to where that goes. Once you've added your stimulus and you are happy with everything that is inside of it, you are going to click Done. Now that my stimulus is added, I'm going to attach questions directly to this stimulus. So the question I am adding relates directly to the passage, and I want students to make sure that this passage is next to the question that I'm going to add. So instead of clicking the blue plus button to add a question, for a stimulus, I'm going to click the blue Attach Question button that will show to the right, and then now I'm going to select my question type. For this, I'm going to select multiple choice, and inside of this multiple choice question, there are 3 important parts again. First is your question title. For your question title, these are optional. The second is going to be the question stem. So this is the actual text box we will enter the question we are asking our students. Below is where you will see your answer choices, and then you will just type in the answer choice, and then you will select the circle to the left of the correct answer. I'm going to go ahead and add this information, and then I will show you the rest of the question options. Now that I have my question title, the question stem, and the answer choices, I'm going to continue to scroll down and discuss what some other options are on your questions. For this one, we do have the option to have an on-screen calculator. If we would allow that, we just click the check box next to it. You can also vary points by answer or shuffle your answer choices. When you are done, you will select the Done button, and then now your question has been attached to your stimulus. Let's look at how this would view for a student. I'm going to scroll back up to the top of my new quiz and click Preview. And now, as a student, when I am taking this quiz, I will see that my passage or stimulus is on the left-hand side of my screen, and the question that relates to this passage or stimulus is on the right side of my screen. I can select the correct answer and then hit Submit to turn in my new quiz.